Yes, you are listening to Something Fresh. Yes, and this is Salam Media. This is Friday Night Live with me, ST. It's 5 minutes after 7 p.m. Time for the Crypto Talk segment. And so two South African brothers have vanished along with Bitcoin worth 3.6 billion US dollars. And to talk to us a bit more about this whole saga that's obviously made headlines this week, I speak to Bishop Manganyi, who's obviously an online business expert and cryptocurrency advisor. Bishop, good evening. Welcome to the program.
Good evening.
Awesome stuff, man. Thanks for taking the time and great to have you with us. Now, obviously, Bitcoin over the last number of years, obviously people were quite, skeptical when it comes to obviously this type of cryptocurrency, as it's obviously something that's not tangible. There were many other scams that have obviously gone on over the last few years. We've seen many pop-up organizations offering this type of currency, and people vanish. But this would seem like it's one of the largest cryptocurrency scams the country has seen.
Yeah, the crypto business is quite tricky for people who are not aware of it. It's quite tricky, and obviously it's coming at the times where everyone wants to have money, and it's labeled as a get rich scheme thing. But in real estate, it's not a get rich quick thing. It's a long-term business, which basically need patience as well, like any other business. So if you do it right, you will be okay. But if you don't do it okay, you are going to be a part of the victims.
Now, there is obviously legitimate platforms like Luno, etc., for South Africans to purchase Bitcoin, right? But we've seen also countries pass it as legal tender, where they are able to buy anything from a cup of coffee to a PlayStation 5 with Bitcoin. But in South Africa, we know obviously Bitcoin, obviously with regulations and regulatory bodies, etc., coming to the fore, there was a lot of argument over the last 2 or 3 years in this regard. But now to just vanish away with Bitcoin, just to give the listeners a bit more in-depth information, when you and I do a transfer or a transaction using Bitcoin, let's say I'm purchasing something from you, you or me cannot be traced. The transaction goes through a whole blockchain methodology, right? And a whole system of algorithms, etc. I don't want to get too in-depth for people to get lost, but you cannot be traced. Am I correct in saying that?
Be traced, not even a single person can trace you. So now there's philosophy behind cryptocurrencies. I can just say this: that cryptocurrencies was established or maybe was founded or invented in back 2008 by Satoshi Nakamoto. No one knows about these gentlemen, whether it's a guy, whether it's a lady. No one knows. But we're always having this way to say these are Satoshi Nakamoto, the people who first wrote the law, which is, we call it a white paper. The white paper is a law rule that says this is a number of bitcoins, a limited number of supply of bitcoins that is going to be operating or maybe in a circulation up until 2140. 2140 is years in 2140. So, so this is a revolutionary or is a future currency. As now it's coming really hard to everyone. Most countries, if you can check now, I'm not quite sure if it's Slovakia or Ecuador. They have now, as a government, officially started using Bitcoin as a form of purchase, as a form of payment. Yes, that is officially. And there's the first country in the whole world that is going to do the airdrop of cryptocurrencies, of their own digital currencies as well. So when we look into the right way of cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin itself, because the cryptocurrencies is just an umbrella word that covers a lot of coins within the word Bitcoin. But however, Bitcoin becomes the first coin that was established. So each and every individual now, every day is just creating their own coin. They say now, I can have my own coin, you can have your own coin, but there's quite a number of things that you need to look into before doing that. When we come to our own country, we are very far from getting regulated.
It's safe to say that Bitcoin is the locomotive of all cryptocurrencies. I mean, being the head of all cryptocurrencies, and then you've got like your altcoin, Litecoin, etc., etc. I mean, then there's Bitcoin mining, etc. But now problems arise when investors say they cannot locate any people, and it can be used for good or bad. In this instance, looking at the company that we're talking about here, and these two brothers who just disappeared, AfriCrypt, there are many offerings on social media. If you go on Facebook or on the internet, on whatever news website you're on, you'll see somebody saying, okay, we're offering Bitcoin, invest now $200, etc. For people who are not so clued up with Bitcoin, how not to get scammed? Firstly, let's tackle that point.
I read the article from my European guy stays in Germany. He sent me this yesterday and said, look what happened in South Africa. Some small boys ran out with $3.6 billion of South African and people who created a design, a website, and people started to go into it. But it's this is very, very important. People need to look into, number one, that is a very high risk, no go area. It's if people come and say you are going to get 10% a day, 10% a week, 10% a month, that is totally wrong, because in cryptocurrencies you can never give someone a fixed return of percentages. You can never give that to anyone, because we speak about Bitcoin, which no one knows the value of it tomorrow. We can only know how much is it today, or maybe how much was it last year. If we speak now at the current rate, it's over 500,000 per coin. But I cannot tell you, since I'm using Bitcoin for survival, I can't tell you tomorrow the Bitcoin will be at 700,000. I'll be lying to you. I can only predict, and the predictions does not mean it will be true, right? So we all have 90% chances of correcting to say this is the right predictions, but the 10% plays a very huge role in the difference in between, right? Now, the only way to predict the Bitcoin is through the analyzing of the charts, but it does not matter. It also allows you and I, the people who are buying Bitcoins, to influence the price of Bitcoin. Now, we have what we call the richest guy now in the whole world, Elon Musk, for example. Elon Musk is a very good believer in Bitcoin. And what he does now, he just manipulates the Bitcoin with his company, Tesla. Tomorrow he will say that Tesla has pulled out from investing in Bitcoin or accepting Bitcoin as a form of purchase. You know what he's doing? Okay. Now, he's taking his own personal money and buy Bitcoin right after the drop of Bitcoin, because he knows personally that he's going to be influencing a lot of people to pull out from the market.
Yes.
Now, when you pull out from the market, this simply means now the Bitcoin will heavily drop. And when it heavily drops, it is different between me and him, because I will come and buy with 10,000 rands. He come and buy with $10 billion. You see the difference. When the Bitcoin is at $500, at the drop, it drops to $500. He buys with 10,000 or $10 billion, right? Immediately from buying, now there's a very huge demand. It goes up again. How much do you think it's going to get? Now, if Bitcoin
on that point, the price will obviously skyrocket. I mean, we'll see, irrespective of historical data, the price is going to increase exponentially.
That's how it is. So I always tell my people, I always tell my students that we are nothing compared to the big boys. The big boys are the ones who have money, right? Because we will always have to bow.
As what they would refer to as a whale in the investment.
Yes, these are big whales.
Yes,
you understand?
Yes.
We always have to bow to them, not to announce any negativity when it comes to the price of Bitcoin. So tell me now, do you think I should give you 10% or maybe 5% per day when you invested in Bitcoin? Not knowing when the Bitcoin is going to drop, not knowing when Bitcoin is going to skyrocket. Should I do that? Now I can advise you and say, go to Binance directly. Go to Binance. Right. This is a platform.
Yes.
This is a platform where you can buy different kinds of cryptos. This is #1 platform in the whole world, right? That it has a lot of number of people who buys cryptocurrencies daily. It has many users, and in the process, if then it grows. This is funny because if you get a chance to list your coin in Binance, you are rich because there's no number of users who are every day buying through Binance. So it's like a marketplace. It's not cheap to list your coin at Binance. It's not cheap. It's very expensive to the reason that they've already marketed, they built their own system that will then automatically have a client who will buy the coin that you have. But going back to the Bitcoin way from South African side, I think most people take South Africa as a joke country. So to put it like this, it's because our laws here don't regulate such things as yet, and people do it freely, right? We can start a company now. We can start a company now, and then we say give it any name. And we give it a table of packages to say invest $500 every day. You get 10% of that. If you calculate 10% of $50, you get a lot of money per day, which you did not work for it, and you need to get it. Our people need to get this money every day. They are to blame as well. I can tell you, they are to blame because they don't want to invest their money in education. They want to invest their money in something.
You mentioned something here, investing in Bitcoin education, etc. Now, this is obviously a high risk, high reward industry. We need to understand it, but there's a very big difference between cryptocurrencies and obviously investing in forex and binary options, etc. People get very confused, thinking it's the same thing, and many of these binary option offering platforms have now got Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies on their platforms as well. So people do get scammed. I mean, we've seen over the last couple of years when there were articles on the previous crypto segments where we've spoken about these type of things happening. Now, looking at this AfriCrypt and their employees who lost access to the back end of the platform, just vanishing away, safe to say South Africans are just so susceptible to obviously investing and just being lured into an investment to say, okay, look, I can turn you 100K into 10 million tomorrow, and boom, based on historical data, I can just create a platform.
Brother, I need to be honest with you. In South Africa, we are very poor now. There are no jobs now. And then it's very sad that South Africans are going to do anything to make money. That is why you see the high number of crime that is increasing. But for people who are like me and you who believe that you don't want to steal for survival, we're obviously going to get a single cent and put it online and trying to make more money for our family to survive. Now, when you go to the bank are as well not giving us the reality of everything, right? So then if they don't give us the reality of everything, what happens? Their returns are too low, and there are so many things, hidden agendas that the banks don't tell us, right? So we are going to opt for the financial markets where we know that there's a high risk. The problem is our own brothers and sisters says, when you invest, they will come and say, how much am I going to receive a day? If I tell them as a person who's been doing that and say, it's unpredictable to how much you receive, it depends on the market, how it operates. You're not going to get anyone you can advertise. I can tell you can advertise for 5 years, but you won't get anyone. Reason is people assume that Bitcoin will give them wealth overnight, and it's not true, right? So if I come with my real, come with my real education and say, this is what you're going to get, I'll be speaking alone. Even if you can call, it can be funded by the government, I will be speaking alone because people need something that is tangible.
Correct. People do want things that are obviously tangible. And this is what happened about 2015, I recall, back when I first invested in Bitcoin. People were saying, okay, look, it's not something I can see, not something I can touch. I don't know this kind of thing. But people obviously made a lot of money. Those who bought at that time when the price was around 30,000 Rand for a coin, it went up to almost 950,000 Rands. So those people who obviously invested really made a lot of money. However, having said that, the daily value of the crypto asset fluctuates all the time. So there's no given or set fixed price that it can be controlled by. But now we're looking at other countries adopting it as legal tender, like the UAE and many of the European countries as well. And as you mentioned earlier on, I think it's Ecuador, etc. In the African space and on the African continent, do you think much more needs to be done here in terms of obviously legitimizing it and obviously passing it as legal tender, or do you still think we are far way off for the vast majority of civil society to understand and who need more education with regards to the whole cryptocurrency topic?
I can tell you, I don't want to be political now, but I can tell you if they bring adoption of cryptocurrencies, there won't be any survival of many political parties here in South Africa. Because the cryptocurrencies can never do corruption with it. You cannot do that. Because everything needs to be confirmed multiple times.
Yes.
So everything needs to be, and they don't want that because it's coming here to free the people. So if everything is legit and it's safe, I can send you $100 now, brother. Send you $100 and put it in a Bitcoin wallet, which is Luno and altcoin traders are legal in South Africa, and VAR. So I send $100 now. We go to sleep. Tomorrow you can wake up with $150, not knowing where the money is coming from, depending on the value of Bitcoin. But let me tell you something. The Bitcoin is expected now. If you can buy with the full $500 and leave it like that for the next 3 years, you can come and thank me and say, "Look, man, you have made a lot of money with that 500,000 that I've put in. Only I did not use." Because in the next future, look now, the country has adopted. Dubai they're not scared to use cryptocurrencies anyway. They use it for purchases. Also in Germany, Starbucks, the Starbucks.
Yes, the coffee.
They accept cryptos, Bitcoin as a form of purchase. Why that? Why can't we bring it in our own country? Because people are losing money. We need to legalize this thing as soon as possible because it's going to be saving lives of people, lives of individuals. We must not care about a bank, what a bank says. The banks will always want to take money out of the people in a form of legal way, but it's illegal anyway. Right?
No, I got exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to obviously, there's a lot of people, young people who are not employed now. We need to invest in that. Our government need to, our minister, what we call this, our governor spoke about this. I have the video. Spoke about this last year that they're looking into legalizing the cryptocurrencies.
Well, there's a question here that's come up from Mumtaz Ali saying, how can it free people? People were robbed blindly. So this is a bigger form of corruption in her opinion. Do you agree with that? And Mumtaz, thank you for your question.
No. If it was meant to harm people, the other countries were not supposed to be adopting it. But I want to give you a very practical example. We have Luno, which is registered in South Africa. We have altcoin trader, it's registered in South Africa. All these are Bitcoin platform, right? All these are Bitcoin platform. And in that case, if then these were illegal, why would the South African government approve this Luno and altcoin trader as form of exchange of Bitcoins? But I want to give you exactly again the practical example. The Luno also allow us to withdraw my money from them as Bitcoins to my bank account as capital. If such things were here to harm people, the banks are not telling you that they are receiving a lot of fees from the Luno when people withdraw to their bank. So such things, the banks are not telling the people because they know that people will not go to the bank and invest directly. You can register your Luno. They need FICA document. Why do they need FICA document if it's illegal?
For obviously legitimate purposes. Yes.
You understand? So obviously, people need to open their eyes and see, look, I don't need to send money to anyone if I can do this on my own. I don't need to do. Why people don't pay for education? They must not pay for investment in other platforms, right? I'm not saying there are good, legit platforms out there, but it's hard to find, right? It's hard to find because many platforms in our own country, they are not legalized because it's a very huge battle to say from the bank influences the government not to accept anything that has to do with cryptocurrencies.
So
But
basically, what you're saying is that it's a controlled monopoly, that the banks obviously don't want people to invest their money into cryptocurrency because they're going to be losing out. But that's going to
yes,
obviously be another topic on its own, as obviously it's a massive discussion and a massive talking point. But Bishop, basically, just in a nutshell, before we obviously conclude, and it's been great obviously chatting with you, for people not to get scammed in future, what should they look for when they're on the internet or when they browsing through their social media sites and these pop-ups happen? Hey, invest in Bitcoin, or you get these pop-up adverts. How to find a legit platform? What would you advise
okay.
people?
My advice might not be clear to some people. Okay,
Mm.
obviously, I can tell the people there's no platform that can give you money richer, quicker. Right, a platform that when you sit down and calculate that in December I'll have 1 million rands only if you deposit 10,000 rands. It's crazy.
It is. It's ludicrous.
It's it's crazy to me because there's no such thing. Everyone will quit their job and go do the very same thing. Everyone, right? You will
Correct.
take all the money that we have and put it there, and then you say, now I'm going to drive Maserati in December. It's crazy because we need to find out. These are the platforms that I can give to the people. These are not obviously registered. Some of them are registered. Go to Altcoin Trader, altcointrader.co.za, and go to. I won't mention Luno now because Luno is not broad. It's not big. Go to Binance. Go to Hotbit. Go to KuCoin. Go to Lata Token. Go to XE Market. Right? These four platforms that I've mentioned here, you will buy your own cryptocurrencies without any individual. You are not sending anyone money. These platforms. I'm not saying people should not try their luck where they think they can do and get. I'm not saying that. People must not misquote me, right? But I'm giving you where you will not in the last 5 years saying that no, my money has been taken away from me or so on. People close down. These are exchanges. You can download their apps. You can download their apps on your phone, and they'll need a KYC. You will not be able to withdraw without a KYC or deposit money without a KYC. The KYC is very important. Most of these companies that are here, they don't have regulations, especially they don't allow the KYC within their company. Okay, so on those platforms, what's going to be happening is that you will have an access to buy your own cryptocurrencies that you want. Can be Bitcoin, can be Ethereum, can be whatever Doji, whatever things that you can do. Right?
Okay, awesome stuff.
Yes, so there are quite a number of things that you can do.
Well, I'm going to get my production team to obviously keep this for crypto part number 2, as obviously we don't have time to obviously continue this fantastic discussion. Bishop, we thank you for your time tonight, though. But as you mentioned, for the viewers and listeners out there, go on to Luno, go on to Altcoin Trader, Binance, and have a look for yourself. Educate yourself. That's the main thing. Bishop, we thank you for your time tonight. Until we chat again, have an awesome evening. Take care.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye. That's Bishop obviously talking to us there, Bishop Manganyi. And we're talking about cryptocurrency, and we obviously acknowledge all of the questions coming in and comments. And that brings us to 7:30. But we are going to have a second discussion in this regard on the next Crypto Talk segment. Anyway, it's 7:30 p.m. on the dot. We'll be back shortly.